This episode of The Proud Family Dumb and Dumber is brought to you by Autism. You heard me rant about this episode before. I say let's rant again because it's worth harping on again. I swear, the show couldn't pull off a sweatshirt, much less a moral. We open with a protest of Proud Snacks, our perpetual running gag about how awful the snack company is. The animals themselves are on strike, and I will admit that the fact that the animals are the ones who are protesting Proud Snacks is a hilarious concept until you realize the episode's name, BB. You see, this episode will establish BB is on the autism spectrum. The problem is, this episode's priorities are just about everywhere else. Proud Snacks is going to be investigated based on the condition of Oscar Proud's office. Seriously, I'm sure the stacking of the shelves themselves are breaking a ton of regulations, much less actual production management. He fires two of his workers, a child and a monkey. After the opening, we see Trudy and Oscar. Trudy is shown to be busy, and she's only operating under her maiden name mainly because Oscar Proud is so hated because Proud Snacks taste like mud. Well, worse than mud. Oscar gets shoved with the twins because of Trudy, who in turn shoves Penny with the twins. Penny begins to resent BB and Cece mainly because Trudy and Oscar keep delegating their parenting responsibilities to her. It would be a valid complaint if the focus of the episode was meant to be on her and not, BB. So, one of the first main plots is that the Proud Snacks are under a subpoena. Another plot thread is how much Penny hates being turned into a babysitter and how she needs to stand up for herself. And then at the museum, we get to see Penny lose BB, leading to a montage of antics. Hey, it's an IP that Disney owns. This is funny, honestly. This whole montage is not without merit. It's just being held down by the plot. If this was an Adventures in Babysitting style parody, Penny going through random environments like Marvel, space, and a Shinkansen, and a holodeck, all of these would be interesting on their own. Because Maya is an absolute horrible person who needs to be slapped with a burlap sack full of durian fruit, when she's asked where BB is, Maya instead chooses to tell off Penny by calling her a spineless coward. Yay! Maya's an asshole. BB is actually in a plane right there, which he rigs to crash out the window. Don't worry, he's not actually in the plane. He was actually on the roof, and he ends up dropping, which Kareem catches. Yay! When she arrives home, Penny is complaining about being in charge of the kids again. Cece she can deal with, but BB, no. Despite this episode being about BB, the focus is not on BB at all. It's always, LOL, look at the funny thing that this baby just did. He never gets any greater characterization other than funny baby does funny thing. Penny argues with her parents on how BB is impossible to deal with. And once again, BB does the LOL funny baby enjoying high places doing dangerous things bit. After falling off the roof, they take BB to the doctor's office because of course you should, and we get some focus on BB who demonstrates multiple signs of autism. Mostly his hyposensitivity to a lot of sensations, though remember this is a spectrum meaning that he can have hyper or hyposensitivity to sensations. This scene happens halfway through the episode. And then he gets recommended to a specialist, Dr. Lord. Unfortunately, this episode is not made better by Dr. Lord actually being Maxwell Lord. No. This is basically just a Dr. Lord who diagnoses BB with autism and says he'll need some extra care and attention. Oh, and she runs a special school for children like BB. I would make a Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters joke, but this episode will do that. Seriously. Oscar refuses to accept that BB is autistic and storms off. Dr. Lord asks Penny how exactly she feels. You get exactly what you expect out of a show. Penny basically resents how she gets turned into a babysitter for Cece and BB all the time. With the extra care that BB now needs, she fears that she'll be told to be the extra care, substituting actual parenting with just a teenage girl who is still in high school and is exhausted and is trying to maintain a social life and everything else. Yikes. The rest of the episode isn't even about BB at all. It's about Oscar learning to accept his son. He's dedicated to denying that he's on the spectrum, no matter what he does. And on top of that, Proud Snacks, that plot is still a thing. Proud Snacks is closed down because BB causes chaos and basically says, yeah, this place is breaking every single safety regulation known to man and then some. And it's only after losing Proud Snacks that Oscar finally relents and accepts BB and has him moved to Dr. Lord's school. One stupid autism is a superpower visual pun later, we're done with the episode. For an episode named BB, this episode actually fails to focus on BB. Sure, this episode focuses around BB, but not on. Every single time BB is the focus character, he's in a high place causing issues for the main character. He's not a character, he's a plot device. This episode's moral is not about how autistic characters have thoughts, feelings, and passions like everyone else. Rather, it is not about BB at all. It's about Penny and how she gets turned into a glorified babysitter, and that she fears that she's eventually going to keep becoming this glorified babysitter, even to the point that she's essentially a third parent and is dealing with a special needs child who honestly needs a specialist or at least someone actually parenting. It's about how Penny's social life is being harmed by these children, even though her friends are still a stack of pricks who honestly need to be thrown into the fiery pits of hell again. And again, the focus is not on BB. The focus is on Penny and how she knows this diagnosis means she'll only get more responsibility stacked on top of her. Penny. 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 When the focus is not on Penny, it's on Oscar. Oscar has the subpoena. Oscar doesn't believe his son has autism and keeps jumping through hoops justifying him not sending him to Dr. Lord's school. Oscar loses his place of business and finally accepts his son. This show is absolutely less concerned about giving BB any focus and characterization other than LOL, baby does crazy things, autistic baby does crazy things. And for the people who say, well, BB is just a baby, how much characterization could they possibly give him? Rugrats didn't exactly have an issue giving characterization to babies. This is a cartoon. You can play around with those characters and give them a lot of characterization. That's one of the benefits over a cartoon that a live-action show does not have. And really, they couldn't have done this? I mean, the Proud Family's no stranger to zaniness at all. Rewatching this episode, it truly surprises me that Cece is absurdly underutilized in this. Despite being, BB's twin, you'd really think that the relationship between the twins would be a big focus. Hell, BB's relationship with anyone should be a focus. But instead, the focus is on literally anybody else. And per tradition for my Proud Family Fair, I'm handing out musical hell-style sentences towards everyone. For basically being pricks the entire episode, and for this industrial hellhole that is Proud Snacks, Trudy and Oscar are sentenced to babysitting Franklin and Valeria Richards. For Penny's friends being the worst as usual, they are sentenced to friendship lessons with Sanemi Shinagizawa, without weaponry or armor. In particular, Maya's lesson will be held in the Nether, so let it be recorded. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.